All right, welcome to this explainer diving into WNS versus Conduent for finance transformation services. Now, we're going to be asking a pretty big question today. Which partner actually delivers greater value for the modern CFO? If you're a finance executive listening to this, you already know the ground beneath your feet is completely shifting. We are moving way beyond the old world of legacy outsourcing, where the whole goal was just finding cheaper labor. Instead, we're stepping into this completely new strategic paradigm. Today, it's all about AI-led, analytics-driven finance transformation. So in this explainer, we're going to put two major players head-to-head, WNS and Conduent. We'll explore their very different approaches to business process services and ultimately figure out which one makes the most sense for the future of your finance team. Here is our quick roadmap for today. First, we'll look at the needs of the modern CFO. Second, WNS versus Conduent compared. Third, transforming core finance processes. Fourth, the AI and analytics advantage. And finally, evaluating transformation partners. Let's jump right in. Section 1. Needs of the modern CFO. The evolving mandate of finance leaders. Okay, so if you lead a finance team right now, your role has just absolutely exploded over the last decade. Right? It is no longer just about standard financial reporting or, basic cost management. The expectations have been completely rewritten. Today, CFOs are expected to drive profitable growth, drastically improve cash flow visibility, support high-level strategic decision-making, and proactively manage business risk. Oh, and on top of all that, you're expected to somehow enable digital transformation and accelerate AI adoption across the board. It's a massive mandate. And let's be real, you simply cannot hit these targets relying on manual work and legacy systems. Finance organizations have to leverage intelligent automation to cut out the manual grind, freeing up teams to actually execute on these big strategic priorities. There is a quote that I think hits the nail perfectly on the head here. Instead of simply reducing transaction costs, modern transformation helps organizations create finance functions that contribute strategic business value. And really, that's the whole shebang. It highlights the fundamental night and day difference between traditional outsourcing, which is just labor arbitrage, right? And modern finance transformation, which is entirely focused on agility, speed, and real business outcomes. Section 2. WNS versus Conduent compared. Specialization versus broad business services. So let's look at how these two providers actually position themselves in the market, because there is a foundational difference here. Conduent approaches the market as a broad business process services provider. They do transaction processing, customer experience services, healthcare operations, essentially generalized operational efficiency across a bunch of different domains and industries. WNS, on the flip side, takes a highly specialized approach. They position themselves specifically around targeted finance transformation, heavily powered by agentic AI intelligent operations. And they back the whole thing up with dedicated CFO advisory services. So it's really a choice between a broad cross-industry processor and a highly specialized AI-centric finance partner. When we break down their specific capabilities side by side, WNS shows a very strong focus on finance transformation, whereas Conduent maintains a more moderate, generalized approach. When it comes to agentic AI finance solutions and advanced analytics suites, WNS places proprietary AI platforms right at the center of their strategy, giving them extensive capabilities there. Conduent's offerings in these specific, deep finance areas are categorized as a bit more limited, or basic to moderate. Plus, WNS brings dedicated CFO advisory services and extensive industry-specific finance expertise to the table, which really contrasts with Conduent's broader multi-domain structure. Section 3. Transforming core finance processes, moving beyond fragmented operations. Okay, so it's great to talk about these overarching, high-level AI strategies, but how do they actually apply to the daily, in-the-trenches workflows of a finance department? Well, step 1 is procure to pay, or P2P. This is usually one of the biggest cost optimization opportunities you have. Transforming this means optimizing supplier onboarding, automating invoice processing, and finally getting true spend visibility. Step 2 is order to cash, O2C. Cash flow is king, for sure. So transforming O2C means digitizing your credit management, your billing, your collections. Doing that directly lowers your days sales outstanding, which is huge. And finally, step 3 is record to report, R2R. Finance teams waste just countless hours on fragmented reporting. Modernizing R2R streamlines the general ledger, automates those messy reconciliations, and dramatically speeds up the month-end financial close. Section 4, the AI and analytics advantage, the engine of modern finance. To make those core process transformations actually happen, you need the right engine under the hood. You've probably heard the term agentic AI thrown around lately. Let's demystify that heavy tech jargon for a second. Agentic AI is artificial intelligence that autonomously automates complex finance tasks. We're talking journal entries, reconciliations, anomaly detection, and it does it with minimal human intervention. We are not just talking about basic robotic process automation here that just follows a rigid script. No way. This is autonomous accounting. It captures invoice data, validates the info, triggers workflows, and spots errors on its own. The tangible benefit here is massive. It pulls your top human talent out of the repetitive transactional weeds and frees them up to do the strategic thinking that actually moves the needle. But it doesn't stop at just doing the tasks. Modern finance requires what we call analytics-led foresight. You need real-time insights. Solutions like working capital analytics give you deep visibility into liquidity and payment cycles. Then you have controllership analytics, allowing for proactive risk detection and compliance monitoring. And crucially, there is predictive forecasting. By using AI-driven cash and revenue modeling, finance leaders can completely pivot away from looking in the rearview mirror with hindsight reporting and finally move toward predictive, foresight-driven decision-making. It's a total game changer. Section 5. Evaluating transformation partners. Choosing your path forward. So, if you are a CFO and you're ready to make this leap, how do you actually choose the right partner? Well, here is a clear framework to help you out. First, assess their finance domain expertise. Do they truly understand the nuances of the CFO's office? Next, look at their AI and analytics maturity. Are they just slapping buzzwords on a brochure? Or do they have proprietary platforms actually running autonomous accounting? Industry experience is absolutely crucial too. You want to look for deep expertise in sectors like banking, insurance, healthcare, manufacturing, retail, travel, logistics, or utilities. Having that specific industry knowledge means they can design processes perfectly aligned with your sector's compliance and regulations, which wildly accelerates your time to value. And finally, judge their transformation methodology and their proven potential for driving actual working capital improvement. When you evaluate partners through that outcomes-driven lens, the results are incredibly concrete. A successful transformation literally delivers bottom-line results: a faster financial close, significantly improved forecasting accuracy, higher team productivity, and a much stronger working capital performance. It takes the entire organization and shifts it from a rigid cost reduction mindset into a dynamic business value creation mindset. And that, right there, is what truly empowers the finance function to become a strategic partner to the rest of the enterprise. Ultimately, organizations that are just looking for broad, multi-domain operational support and generalized efficiency might lean toward a provider like Conduent. But on the other hand, those requiring deep, highly specialized AI-centric finance modernization will likely look to a targeted partner like WNS. So I want to leave you with this final provocative thought. Which finance transformation partner is better positioned to help CFOs build an AI-powered, future-ready finance organization? It's something you really need to consider, because the choice you make today is going to define the strategic agility of your finance operations for years to come. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer.